Excited to be here with you, Lindsay.
Excited to be here with you too. All right, so I've got the other screen up. So if any comments come through, I'm so excited. Well, first, I just want to say I did a little post earlier sharing that we'd be coming on live to give you all, prep. And then Miranda had a little disco ball going. And right before we went, we were like, okay, what do we want to talk about for this? We had an idea, and I was like, I don't know, should I buy a disco ball? And so this is the energy we're in, is like,
Yeah.
we're in just play and just no more bullshit. And we're going to be talking about that today and sharing an opportunity for you to kind of go a bit deeper. So do you want to introduce yourself to our beloved Awakened Woman Collective?
Yes, I would love to. So I'm Miranda Bre, and I'm a longtime friend of the beautiful Lindsay Martinellis. And we get to co-create together. So I'm so excited about that. And today I wanted to come on and just talk about, Lindsay's going to be joining me and several others for a big event on Thursday. And we wanted to invite all of you, but we also just want to talk a little bit about it. So, like some of the things you already touched on, Lindsay, first of all, disco ball, but
I know, I legit, I have sparkly lights in here. Like my office is also my playground. So I really think I'm going to get a disco ball and just, this is about like co-created fun and just fully expressing what's happening in the collective, and both about, it's very clear right now, right? So we're literally, we have this south nodal, eclipse in Scorpio that's happening. And the south, right, it's a new moon, but this is really about eclipsing out what the bullshit, the masks, the false identities, a lot of masks that we have that we don't even necessarily recognize yet. Sometimes we're walking around asleep and with masks on. And so it can feel a bit uncomfortable, but there's this part in us when we start to wake up and we start to be like, I'm not happy. I don't feel fulfilled, right? My relation, it could be in relationships and vocation. And what starts to happen is you start to question, right? You start to feel crazy, or you start to be like, ah. And then luckily we are our highest authority, but we have these amazing tools that I believe the divine, right? Whatever we want to call it, provides to us, just like astrology, right? We have these blueprints that help us guide us back to our authentic truth, nature, essence. So do you want to talk a little bit about, maybe what you do and how I know we both leverage different tools, right, to help support our clients, and then we can just kind of go back and forth.
Sure. So I was first introduced to human design and gene keys back in 2009 or 2010. So it's been a pretty long journey for me. And it was actually, it was something called integral human design, which actually incorporates both human design and gene keys. And so a lot of people have only been introduced to one or the other, or they kind of come at a different time. But I feel lucky that I kind of got them both together in a package. And different people resonate with, they're both amazing tools. And I like that you call them tools, because I really like to see them that way. I don't tend to go into the energy of this dictates my reality. But it's an absolute tool that it's been pivotal in my journey, and it has guided me to where I am in the work that I'm doing right now. So I'm actually, I'm multi-passionate. I am a psychiatric registered nurse. I have a history of I was a body worker, energy healer, somatic. Been doing somatic work for over 25 years. And when I found this work, it's like a deconditioning and embodiment process. And a lot of these things you'll find when you start to look at the work, you're like, oh, this is already happening. So it's kind of already happening anyway, but these become tools for deconditioning and deprogramming, and also embodiment of the highest version of yourself that's ready to really be grounded. And it's also, it's like a multidimensional map of your purpose, and a way of being that can work in the world for you, to support you. And as I've discovered, so my brand is Cosmic Medicine Mama, and that has evolved over the last several years. And they all of this came in as downloads. So, part of the work I do is I support health professionals who are transitioning out of conventional medicine and also healers who want to scale their work because I have a big background in business as well. So, but everything just started to kind of merge together. And one of the things that you said really lands for me, Lindsay, and that is that it's it's in the collective because it's the download that I've been getting as well. But the people that we're seeing come to the front right now are literally people who who would not and could not be ready to put their work out in the world unless they were able to do it from a place of absolute purity, authenticity, and transparency. This is the world we're moving into. And so if you feel like you've been stuck or wondering like, why are my friends so far ahead of me? Why are they able to do it but I haven't? When's it going to be my turn? Well, if that kind of messaging, if that how does that feel for you when you hear about that? Humility, groundedness, transparency, authenticity. If these are your part of your gifts, this is your time. This is like welcome home because the world is now ready for you. And we have some tools that we get to share. And like I'll just quickly like just give an example. So it's an online adventure. So this has been an embodiment process of pure downloads for me. So adventure is one of my gifts, you guys. So, what are we going to do? We're going to do a live online adventure. Okay. It's going to be fun. It's never going to, I don't like to do things that are boring. Even when it's something that it could potentially be as boring as, I mean, business could
disco ball, right?
It's disco ball. Okay. And then my radiance is actually Gene Key 22, which is very, very closely related to the cosmic mother. And those downloads started to come in for me probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And it's been a journey. So it's been a huge journey. And now it's like there's a big integration that's happening. And it just kind of lands in my branding. Like it's very organic. And I like to say I didn't make it up. So I didn't make any of it up.
Well, and like nobody did. Like we're all, it's like this is all universal wisdom through our own lens, through our own filter, through our own experience, through our own courses that we've taken, through our own, right? Anybody that's in this type of leadership position, right? Like we've done the inner work, right? We've done the research. We've literally like been a puddle on the floor, like crying, right? Yes. Doing the work of like, oh my gosh, something feels off. This isn't who I am. Like it's time. And I feel like, if you're at a point now where you feel like this is new for you, right? This is where it's like anywhere out on your journey, we're in the next like evolutionary layer of we mean business. Like it's time to really step in and share truth, because one of the messages I received from Spirit about a week ago was like, we are here to fully express, point blank, period. That is it. Like that is why we are here, to fully express, right? Because through that is our evolution, right? We're here to evolve, but really like a world where all of us are fully expressed. And these tools, right? Human design and gene keys they're a baseline to come home to. And I love that you talk about the embodiment piece. So if you want to come, we'll talk about how you can join us on Thursday. It's a completely free give that Miranda's coordinating with badasses like colleagues of mine, friends of mine, but also people that I aspire to be, right? People who are expanders for me, people who inspire me, people who taught me human design and gene keys. And I'm just really excited because with my work, right? Like a lot of times information can be overwhelming, and I incorporate, as I'm dropping my little myofascial, I've had a lot of jaw stuff going on today. I dropped that on the floor, but it's like, I use music to help us drop in, right? Like you can literally see your chart for the first time and unlock the codes in your DNA to help empower you in your journey. So this is not about like, right? We talk about things that are happening in the cosmos. Nothing is here to take our power away, right? It's here for information. And then it's what we do with that information that is so powerful. And I'm just excited. Like human design and gene keys truly helped me to, it affirmed, like you said, that I wasn't crazy and what my soul was calling for. And so if you feel hungry, right, if you can feel the whispers of your soul, this is a beautiful event that is going to be so much freaking fun. So I don't know if you want to share anything else or share more about the event, but
well, I just love that you said hungry, because hungry is actually one of my shadows. And it's really interesting because there's actually, part of the work is finding the gift in your own shadows. And so, so much of our resistance is actually our gifts. So much of our shadow, like we get to discover the gift in our shadows. And that's how we do the work. So it's, hunger was huge. It wasn't just like emotional eating hunger. It was like hungry for love, hungry for success, hungry for this, hunger, the pulling in. That was something that I got to transmute and also find the beauty in. That I did want more, and there was something more. And now that I have grounded that, it's like the pull isn't so hungry anymore. It's satiated. So it's just completely it's perfect. And this is the way my whole framework for my work came in. So a framework of conscious business, embodied leadership, neuroscience and epigenetics, and integration and healing. This is what we're doing. These are the things we're going to be discussing, and how you can embody deep prosperity through your gifts.
Ooh,
so
and real quick right now,
yeah.
like what's happening in the cosmos is all about finances. Like all about finances. That's why we're seeing things in the collective change financially, right? So it's like not subscribing to the story that there is not enough. I did not mean to interrupt you, but it's like,
No.
yeah, like there is literally more than enough for all of humanity to go around. And this is an opportunity for when we change our relationship with that prosperity story.
Yeah.
This is the ripple that shifts the collective consciousness of humanity around abundance, prosperity, and thriving, allowing all of us to thrive.
And I really love and prefer the term prosperity to wealth, to be really honest. And even Richard Rudd, the founder of Gene Keys, he talks about this and how, and I'm not anti any word, but wealth is like a way to accumulate. And that's what it's like, we don't need to, there is no scarcity. It doesn't exist. It's actually, we made it up. And and also prosperity is just so much more encompassing of all the things that we get to have. It's not just about finances. It's about all the beauty, all the joy, all the everything that we could even imagine. And just magic is available to us. And I don't want to just be like, oh, I just need them. Just give me the cash. It's like, I want all of it. I want it all. And I want it all for everyone. It doesn't, if it's just for me or if it's just for you, then it's like, this is what we're moving out of. And I'm just so, like, honestly relieved and just really excited for humanity, for all of us, that we can finally like let go of the need to get something. Mm-hmm. There is no need to get anything. It's just available. Mm-hmm. So we're going on. It's going to be an all day thing. We're going on from 12 noon Pacific until 6 p.m. I mean, you can stay. It's going to be fun. So definitely, if you're available, stay as long as you can and come and join us and be there. But it will be available for everyone. That is, it is 6 hours, but we wanted to just really like make this, we wanted to get it out there as soon as possible. And because the energies are perfect for this, and we wanted to make it available. And so it is this Thursday, October 27th. I'll be there with Lindsay and a bunch of other amazing people. Actually, the Richard Rudd's top teacher, I've actually got the privilege of interviewing Richard Rudd in the past, and he wasn't available this year because he's working on another book. right now, but I have his head teacher should be joining us, a couple of his head teachers for his whole program, and some massive influencers in the arena of human design and gene keys, and also Venus astrology. We're going to be talking a lot about that as well. So it's going to be awesome. Don't miss it. I look forward to meeting all of you and co-creating along with you. And you'll be able to ask live questions, guys. This isn't just like a, we're going to come and present. Like you get to interact, you get to ask your questions right there on the call. So
yes. I had a couple of people ask already that had signed up, and I was like, some of them are already clients of mine. I'm like, bring your charts. Like Miranda said, you can use her charts as a tool. Right. It's like, right. The more engagement and questions and right. Because obviously we're all unique and individuated, right? But so many people are going to be able to benefit from hearing the different questions.
Absolutely. I've gone to group readings before, and they're just as valuable as personal ones, because a lot, I might have a gate that you have, or I have a key that you have, and the whole entire planet goes around the wheel as well. So we're in different energies at different times. Just like right now we're in Scorpio. We just had a Scorpio full moon. I don't personally have any Scorpio in my chart, but I know that I'm going to feel this as well. So, it's going to have an effect as well, because I live on the planet. So
exactly. And some like astrological phenomenons affect us, right? Depending on where we're at in our soul journey. And it's like, we're all affected, just like the moon pulls the tides in and out every day. Like, this is where I always am like, okay, let's get it. Like, it's like, if you're new here and you're like, I don't know, right? The moon literally pulls the tides in and out every single day. Like, we are mostly water. We are affected by what's happening in the cosmos. And for human design, right? We had supernova 1987, star exploded. It's like, so we are literally made up of the stars, because when there's a supernova, stardust sprinkles all over us, just like we're a fractal of the earth, right? So it's like, what feels so exciting, and I know this is why I've been having so much for me, is also in the authentic expression of not being afraid to share, like, yeah, I'm a cosmic mother effing body, it's like, and yeah. And just being like, and I think what's happening now is, it's like, well, the science is there obviously, but it's like, people feel it now. There's no turning away from, there is so much more at play here than just our individual experiences. And that's why we're moving out of the me, the scarcity, right? Every man, woman, for him, herself. And this event this is what it's about. It's like, we're taking all of us with us, right?
We're finding our fractal lineages. That's exactly what we're doing. This is like, you have a fractal lineage, I have a fractal lineage. We're in each other's fractal, and fractals are, they're like that stardust, like how you explained. It's like, it's everything, and it's specific. It's all the things.
It is.
And so this is the era that we're moving into, where we get to be aligned and in contact and in communion with our fractal lineages, which is an absolutely beautiful thing. And there's room for all of us. So I know that I'm part of yours, Lindsay. So, and I know you're part of mine. And so
I call it, I call it the cosmic cloth too. It's like, she's cut from the same cosmic cloth as me.
Yes.
Right? It's like, you can just feel it. And I think one thing that I want to say is, it can feel isolating when you are walking around asleep, but then there's a layer that sometimes can feel isolating going through any sort of remembrance or awakening. And the community, I know you're in the same boat too. Like Miranda and I met in these sister communities. This event, I believe, is open to any being, right? Like, obviously, yeah. But, for me, it's like, sister wound and the mother wound. It runs so deep. And so especially, right, it's the rise of the feminine. It's like, it's the rise of the receptivity that we're talking about. It's the rise in bringing all of us with us. And these types of containers, these types of events, these types of communities really help to feel like, relief. I'm not crazy. Like I'm not alone in what I've really been feeling. And so that's also the adventure. It's like to meet more people, right? Who are, right? We are the 1%ers of the world. We are the ones that are paving the way, right? Like literally paving the way of this new paradigm. And so, of course, it's going to bump up against our shadow, and it's going to bump up against the parts of us where we feel like, oh shit, do I really want to go there? And having that is so, so, so powerful. And like I said, Miranda's a badass, right? It's like, we know how to do the damn work. We know how to we know how to force, we know how to do, but this is the new way, is like, yeah.
Lindsay, I can tell people that are coming in right now. I mean, we have like, the times are changing. The voice is opening up for professionals who have been afraid to come out. We have occupational therapists in there, doctors, nurses, I mean, speech therapists, hypnotherapists, like healers. This is a collective of humans who are here to uplift humanity and create shift. And so if that is you, then you're in the right place and you don't need to be afraid. Okay. I just met an anesthesiologist the other day who was he was talking about how he really felt choked out in medical school because he said, I wasn't like the other people. I'm not like, and it's like, and he's like, well, because I'm a doctor and doctors don't talk like that. And I was like, well, you're a doctor and you talk like that. And so it's like, it's safe.
Yeah. You are so
okay.
safe.
That's part of the programming that we're transmuting right now. And so come join us. I'm super excited to serve you. That is part of my mission, is to serve humanity from authenticity and just pure transparency. And it was scary at first, but now it's just like, it's all coming out. So
that's why we need the community, right? Because there's that fine line. And then once you go, it's just the waterfall, and you feel lighter, right? Because you're living the amount of baggage and weight. First of all, the density that we carry inside our body temples, right? Like all of that weight that we carry is exhausting.
Yeah.
And so this is where it's like, I know it's just taking that first step. So if you want just to have a little bit of fun, learn more about your authentic self-expression, right? Who you came here to be, your soul purpose, right? Like it's like your soul journey in human form, integrating that, embodying that. I will put the link below. You're going to get a little dose of me. I believe I'm on around like, what is it? 12:30-ish PST, 3:30.
I think so. I don't have the exact schedule in front of me, but you're on the end for sure.
I'll put all that goodness in there, and you can sign up and get in Miranda's group, Miranda's World, Higher Healers Collective. And we're all healers, right? We're all leaders.
Yes, absolutely.
And so if you're feeling the call, come and join us. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you. Any final words or thoughts?
I love that you said that. We are all healers, and it is, we are doing a lot of emphasis on conscious business and prosperity. But what I find is that we start to embody our leadership and embody our gifts, is that even if we never thought we wanted to be an entrepreneur, it starts to happen. So if you're kind of like, I don't even know if I want to do that, come. If this sounds like something you are interested in and you want to learn more about your chart and learn about yourself, come anyway, even if you don't identify as a current entrepreneur, because there's definitely going to be some gold in there for everyone. So all genders, all people, all humans, if this message is aligned with you, then please come join us. It's going to be a great event, and I look forward to serving you there with Lindsay. And thank you so much for introducing me to your community, Lindsay.
Of course. And I would say we all have prosperity or lack and scarcity programming. So, right. Like, even if you're like, I just want to change my prosperity story, that's a start, because there may be a block that maybe your soul path is to be an entrepreneur or to receive monetary, right, exchange for your gifts. Not always the case.
It's just working in your gifts. It could be working in your gifts for someone else, for a conscious entrepreneur. So it's all of that.
Right. So it's like opening up the doorway of possibility, because what we think we need is not what we need. That's the ego getting in the way. So this is about opening up possibility. All right, my love, this was so fun. Thank you so much. Can't wait for Thursday. If you want any of you have any questions, let me know, but you can sign up in the comments below. Mwah.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Next up, we have Lindsay. Lindsay with the Awakened Woman Collective. And what is the name? You have a podcast now too, right? What's the name of your podcast?
Yes, Soulshine Radio. So, you know, all about authentic self-expression is what I'm all about.
So Lindsay's more in the human design direction, where Kenlin's more in the Gene Keys direction. So we get to go into embodiment and how embodiment has been. How has human design supported you on your embodiment journey? That's where I want to start with you.
Yes, and I love, because obviously Kenlin, right? Like if you notice, there's a lot of thematics here. Like we're moving from knowing, right? Like it's like thinking with the logical mind to knowing through viscerally through our entire being. And so I just want to let's just all take a collective deep breath again, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to do that today, because the mind is going to want to try to know it all. And so I love what Kenlin said, like, if you can, right? Like, let's just close our eyes for a moment. Just put your hands anywhere on your body that feels safe. Just take a deep breath in, just a full breath in through the nose. And then can you just sigh out your day and just allow that exhale to be longer than your inhale, right? Let's just do it again, shake it around, right? This is actually how we receive, because as Kenlin and Miranda mentioned, it's already inside of you. This knowledge is not new. So I know at first it can feel like, I just want to know. And personally, my motto is simpler is better, right? So can you just set the intention of, right, this is it. It's like setting that intention of, right, calling in what is in your highest timeline, because it could be one nugget. It could be hearing it 5 different ways and allowing your body to receive that information that unlocks your next step. Again, the mind wants to know where we're going to be 10 years from now, but our soul is asking for us to take that aligned next step. And we do that through the body. And so to get back to Miranda's question, it's like taking the pressure off. So you'll also notice themes, right? RN, Miranda, I did not know your previous vocation, Kenlin, as a lawyer. I'm a previous engineer, right? But, what I realized is everything in my life, all of the shadow, all of the light, all of the kicking and screaming, all of the tears, all of the feeling like I'm starting over, right? It's all on purpose. I was an environmental engineer. I still, my connection to Mother Earth is stronger than it ever has been, right? I had a health crisis, right? I almost drowned when I was 2. I've lost loved ones, right? We've all had hurt, and all of it brought me closer to myself. All of it brought me closer to oh yeah, here's what I don't like, right? Here, okay, I'm going to be in this male dominated industry, right? This patriarchal, cerebral centric industry, to recognize yeah, I'm good at this, right? And I could do this for the rest of my life, but I would be asleep my entire life. I wouldn't feel a thing. And so through this journey, right, it's going to feel overwhelming, because it's easier to stay in the suffering. It's easier to stay in the patterns, right? And I have some clients here, right? So I just want to celebrate you if you're here, right? You already took this step. You're already heeding the call of yeah, there's something missing. There's more that I want for my life. And what I can assure you is, and I would love to know, we're just going to talk about types today, if we even get that far with human design. So put in the chat, if you know your human design type, I would love to hear, and we'll see if I saw there's a reflector here, which is blowing my brain already. I'm like the first person that I saw. Marie, reflector, projector, generator, projectors, lots of projectors, generators, man gen. That's okay. So if you forgot to look it up, my favorite resource is mybodygraph.com. Mm-hmm. And it's a free tool. It's interactive. You can go there. But this is about energy. And this is why, now coming back full circle to Miranda's question, everything is through the body. Mm-hmm. Everything. This body is our vessel. It's our temple. It's our home. It houses our eternal self. And we're modeled this world of numbing, feeling, avoidance, not feeling, overworking, over consuming, do this next thing, get on social media, scroll. And so this is about slowing down and creating more space.
So Lindsay, can you tell us, like, how did this specifically influence your business?
Yeah. Simplest answer, because most of you are likely feeling something, like you're wanting something more, you're feeling, you don't know what it is. This is a blueprint back to self. It's as simple as that. It is a map, right? A spiritual map, a soul blueprint, right? Your genetic coding, however you want to say it, of who you are in your purest form before society got its hands on you. And so it feels like relief when you're like, oh, I knew it. And you stop feeling crazy, because the world is going to tell you want to do the logical thing, and you got to have the 401k, and you got to stay in the job that you hate and stay with this partner. And that's killing us inside. And everything we desire is simply in following, right, what our heart's desire is. And I feel like it's that first step of, okay, let me go back to course correction. And as Miranda and Kenlyn mentioned, then as you reprogram and as you keep saying yes, that becomes your new autopilot, and you no longer have to rely on the blueprint. It's there to remind you, oh yes, this is who I am. I literally have my body graph on my wall. That's who I am. This is who I am. Not what my parents tell me, not what this doctor tells me, not what this politician says. What do I feel first? And then I allow the world to help me.
Yeah. I love that, Lindsay. And I just want to emphasize, because I agree with everything you say. And I like to open up that it's safe and okay to transition. Because it's like, oh, the job you hate, the 401k, all that. Sometimes it's like, you might be a person who's like ready to just like shut the back door and dive in, and that feels safe for you, then by all means. And it's okay to transition. Okay. It's okay you get to create your own safety. But like, as Kenlyn mentioned, like this is Richard Rudd. And I truly do believe this. I truly do. Is that we are moving into an era where we're going to be so uncomfortable living out of alignment that it's not even going to feel like a choice anymore. And so it is a choice, but the choice is, how uncomfortable are you willing to get? And because it can be uncomfortable moving, leadership, embodiment, moving into more of ourselves, that can feel uncomfortable. But when we're so addicted to the suffering and the life that we're trying to move away from, it's a gift, because it's going to become so uncomfortable that it's going to be like, I get to move in to my new life. I get to transition. And, and if it's safe for you to take the leap and just close the back doors and do it, then by all means do it. But many of us need that permission to transition.
But here's the thing. A transition could be a whole year of doing deep inner work. So, right, this isn't about leaving a job right away. This is like who am I? Some of us don't even know. So yeah, that's exactly it, Miranda. It's like, are these even my thoughts? And it's a simple, like, who am I? Right? Like if you become an empty nester, right? I have someone in my life who their kids are leaving and she's like, I don't know. She's crying to me. I don't even know who I am. And so that's the transition is, again, what is this next step that just allows me to feel, right? So I can clear what's in the way of the inauthenticity, which again, all served its purpose. So absolutely, this isn't like abruptly jump ship. Maybe for some of you, that's what your soul is calling for. But a lot of the time, it's really doing that inner exploration of like, who am I? What do I even want? Right? What does light me up? Most of us, again, we're so offline that we don't even know how to feel. We don't even know what we like. We don't even know how to feel pleasure in the simplest of ways. So I love that you presence that, Miranda, and thank you for clarifying, right? Because nobody knows your path but you. Nobody knows more than you. And so this is about like curiosity and wonderment, right? That overrides fear any day. Like, what would it look like? What's the worst thing that could happen if I did this? And I will say, I left corporate after 3 years of building a business on the side. And I had a conversation with my husband. He's an analyst, made a spreadsheet for me. We came up with a plan. I had my date, something to look forward to, and I took the aligned action. So this is about receptivity, but right? Surrender is an active state. We've got to do it. And so many of us think, right, we're just like, okay, but it takes those conversations with our partners if we have them. It takes conversations with our family, especially if you're a manifester. You don't ask permission, but you want to inform.
Mm-hmm. Or otherwise it feels a little controlling.
Yeah.
And these are the things that it helps us be aware of ourselves. And, I always compare it to, I'm not comparing it because I think this is above and beyond the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs personality test. Those are more psychology. They do have some archetypal things in there as well. But this is like an energetic level. This is like transcends that kind of work. It's all and both, and it's everything. And so each one of us, you could have the very same chart as someone else, which I'm sure is, fairly rare, but you could have the same chart as someone else, but it's living through your experience. It's living through, me and Kunlin discussed this last night. And so it's still completely unique, and it's completely unique in the way that you get to, the way that the light comes through you and the way that that gets to be shared, because we're moving into full authenticity. That's really where we're going. And it's exciting and fascinating, and it can feel a little bit intimidating too. So you do get to be safe. You do get to, by safe, I don't mean hiding or avoiding or, I mean like you get to create, you get to go at your own pace. You get to choose how you do this. But when you want to create a business that is your authentic work from your gifts, well, guess what happens? You bump up against walls and you get to work through your shadow and you get to work through your blocks. And that's really what this is all about, and why I wanted to tie it in, because Lindsay, let me ask you, because we have a few more minutes for Lindsay. So does anybody have a question for Lindsay that you want to pop in the chat? Because I want you guys to have your specific questions answered whenever possible. So if anybody has a question for Lindsay, pop it in the chat, or otherwise I will give her one.
Beautiful. Yeah. And you'll see, right? Like if you actually look at the chat, it's pretty, there's 35% gens, man gens, 24 projectors, right? 8% manifestors and 1% reflectors. And I just want to presence, well, all I want to say is if you don't have a defined sacral, right, that's where a lot of relief, like projectors are really here to lead, right? So if you're in this grind of work, this is where it really starts to show you, how are you in your relationships? How are you in your vocation? And generators, people used to tell me all the time, you work too much. You're always doing things. But that when I'm inspired and lit up, I love to work. It feels like pleasure to me. Right. But when I was out of alignment with my vocation, it started to feel like death in my body. And so that's where it starts to get really fun of, yeah, okay, this is why, like, people tell me I'm lazy. A lot of projectors and reflectors and manifestors often get that a lot in childhood, right? Because there's a lack of consistency there. But that's energetically how you're energetically wired, right? And so this is where you can start to decondition all of the things that society has told you that's simply not true.
Yes. I just got head buzz with that one. So it's so true, Lindsay. And, but I also want a presence that, as I'm a manifesting generator, and I keep hearing projectors talk about, well, I'm tired, and like generators and manifesting generators, we have this motor that gives us energy because we're like considered the worker bees, or like we have a battery that keeps us going. But guess what? You can burn out too. And when you've been overworking or out of alignment, or um, spirit guidance has been telling you to go one way, and you've been like completely ignoring it and avoiding it and chugging along, you can completely get exhausted as well. So if you're a manifesting generator or a generator and you're really tired, like many humans on the planet are really tired, then this is how we get to start to generate our energy again. It's getting back into alignment, starting to listen to our body, listening to spirit, and following through, because I had to do that. And I love being an RN. I loved working in psych. I had a really hard time. So sometimes we're being asked to leave things that we didn't necessarily hate. So, like when Lindsay says, like, you wanted to move out of the engineering, and I know Kenlyn, you're an attorney and you don't do anything really like that anymore, as far as I know. And, as an RN, like, a lot of us had professions that, clearly there was something about it that we liked or enjoyed. But we started to get asked to do something different. And sometimes that can feel confusing, because it's like, well, gosh, I spent all these years getting educated. I did this, and people are going to think I'm crazy because I'm going to go be a coach when I, spent all this money on a career. And so it doesn't always make sense.
It usually never does.
Yeah, basically, most of the time it doesn't make sense.
If it's your soul calling, it's usually like the furthest thing from logical, right?
Yeah. And I have to say that it was other things in my life too, that it was like my need for things to make sense held me back.
Woo.
Big time.
Chills all over.
Big time. And so I just invite you to lose the need for things to make sense, and lose the need for needing to know. But it's we got about 1 more minute for any more truth bombs you want to drop, Kenlyn or Lindsay. And then I'm gonna share your free gift as well.
Yes.
Any more truth bombs?
So yeah, really, what opened up for me, and human design came into my life, like somebody gifted me a session, and then I saw, like, it literally just happened. And then I became obsessed. And then I got certified, and just through my own geeking out because of my profile, right? I'm an investigator, experimenter. And so I just loved it. And then I was like, holy cow, this is really helping me. I want to help other people. And now it's just, it's a part of who I am. So again, starting business, like, I am my brand. I have a zillion tools in my tool belt because they all play a role. And so this is about the art of allowing the body to lead. And so I really don't want, and Miranda's already presents this, like, not allowing any tool like this to take your power away, because it's still going back into that old paradigm of, right, something outside of self. So this again is just like a framework. It's that masculine chalice that helps you flow and helps you continue to fully express. And it's not an easy journey, but I wouldn't take it back for the world, right? Because we've got to feel all of that stuff in order, right, to feel the expansion and the liberation and the joy, right? So that's it. That's that polarity. And Well, I'm excited for you to share my gift because I love music, I dance, I do embodiment. And so this is like, I really, you'll share more about it, but this is about activation versus, right, the mind. So go ahead and share if you want, Miranda.
Well, I'm going to have actually, I'm going to have Alexis drop the link to
Perfect.
the gift, but you can go ahead and explain a
Perfect.
little bit more about what it is, Lindsay.
Yeah, so this is a quick little eight question assessment that will help you understand how you're currently living energetically in terms of your type. And then you'll get so you'll get an email, response from me sharing a little bit more of the expression that you're living in, and then kind of helping you course correct back into alignment. And I give you some songs to move to, right? Because again, this is about like allowing the body to soften and receive what you already know to be true in your heart. So it gets you out of the head and into the body to allow you to kind of receive a little bit more. And generally, you want to start, like I said, with something simple versus doing the whole thing and going on this rampant of channels and gates. So I hope you have fun with it. It's definitely light and keeps things, healing can be fun. That's my motto.
Healing can be fun. That's a good motto. I love that. So yeah, definitely check out Lindsay's free gift. And I am so excited to continue on this day because does anybody have a question for Lindsay or Kenlin? Because we have like just a quick couple minutes that I can fit somebody in before we bring on Sasha.
Somebody's asking about right, like, yeah, astrology, Eastern and Western astrology is a facet, just like the Kabbalah, right? Like there's different, just like the Hindu chakra system. So these are tools that are a synthesis of all of this ancient wisdom. So if you already have an understanding of the natal chart, which Sasha Rose will share more about, you'll start to notice, like in Enneagram, I'm in the emotional triad. In human design, I'm an emotional authority. I just started digging into gene keys, and there's a lot around experimentation, which is a thematic of my profile as an investigator and as the martyr experimenter, right? So you'll notice, like, okay, you can't make this up when you're noticing these tools that are like, yes, this is who you are. This is right. For me, mistakes are literally my greatest blessing because I'm here to experiment. Right. And so if you already have knowledge, it's only going in of astrology and these other tools, it's only going to help you connect the dots of like, oh,
Yep.
there it is again. Got it.
It's all layered in there. So for anybody who doesn't know, human design layers the Kabbalah, the chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, which is 64 hexagrams, which line up perfectly with the 64 codons in your DNA. So I truly believe that Gene Keys is epigenetic work. It's literal epigenetic deprogramming, and the ancients knew what they knew what they were up to. We're just now catching up to them. So it's completely fascinating. And it does layer also astrology in there. So it's just like a layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, and all into one system. I mean, I think it's incredible. I don't even, I can't even imagine the genius that that it took for this to come through. But that's why I believe they are transmissions. It's not something that anybody just sat down and thought up with their head.